here. So excited to be here with you, Melody. So fun.
Hey.
Okay, so for those tuning in, welcome. This is the second interview in our interview series for the Holy Woman Retreat that I am hosting in April. I'm so excited about it. And I'm really excited about the guest facilitators who are going to be leading some really powerful sessions throughout this few-day retreat. And so for those who don't know what I'm talking about, the Holy Woman Retreat, it's called the Holy Woman, play on words, holy being sacred, holy being whole. And so over the process of this weekend, we are deep diving into 4 archetypes of our erotic nature as women. And so last interview with Donovan, we talked about the surrendered submissive archetype, really powerful conversation about surrender and submission and our access to our power as women that way. So check it out if you haven't already. And today I am here with Melody. As you can see, Melody she's a professional seductress. It's true. And facilitator, helping other women discover their inner seductress. And it just happens to be that one of those other 4 archetypes that we are embodying over this retreat is the passionate seductress. And so I brought Melody on today so you could get a sense of Melody's work and what, especially for the women out there who are like, I think I'm ready for a retreat in my life. What value is there for me in becoming intimate with my own inner seductress? And seduction is such a loaded word. And I'm sure that you already, for those listening, you have immediate, probably maybe more negative ideas of seduction. And so what we're trying to do is reclaim seduction and make it more conscious. Mm-hmm. Like, actually, we are sexual erotic beings. And so how do we, this field of our sexuality, I call it our field of attraction or our allure as women, how do we wield that responsibly, consciously, and artfully so that we bring beautiful impact to other people, to a room, and not in a manipulative way to get our way, but in a way that has people feeling seen, that has hearts opening, that has intimacy and electricity flowing in a room. So women have a really beautiful superpower in being able to create that kind of electric current in a room. And we talk about 3 flavors, and then I'm going to have Melody share about this. So there's 3 flavors of the passionate seductress that I've been playing with in my exploration of my own seductress. And those 3 flavors are magnetism. You can think of this as like your smoldering, magnetic, mysterious woman. And then there's radiance. You can think of this as like the fun, like party girl who's really warm and friendly and inviting. And then there's incandescence, and there's like this soft glow emitting from a woman. You can think of her as like the girl you bring home or the girl next door, like soft way of attraction. And so what can you share with us, Melody, about what you've discovered about seduction that maybe people don't realize? You've talked about this a little bit before, so I would love to hear more about that.
And thank you so much for having me today. It's so fun to be on. So just for those of you who don't know, my name is Melody. I'm a professional stripper as well. I do have a day job, so I work in all areas of seduction, seduction at night, seduction during the day. And I think the conversation is super important around seduction. I think right now in society, there is such a negative connotation with seduction. It seems like it's hypersexualized, it's used in media a lot, it's used to kind of influence and manipulate. And I think women kind of shy away from that. And I think it's a shame. I think we feel ashamed, and I think it's a shame. And so I'm really in tune with my level of seduction. It is one of my superpowers. I'm maybe not powerful in all other areas, especially the archetypes, but I do feel like I embody seduction pretty well. And I think it's really valuable for women to connect to their, I call it like sexual essence. And I think you call it like an erotic.
Erotic essence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Erotic essence, erotic life force. Mm-hmm. And that way, we talked about this, Jacqueline, like not only having that area of seduction in the bedroom with your partner, with yourself, but also how that can spill over to other areas of your life. I think there's such a benefit for women. And I love the flavors, right? I love the magnetism, radiance, incandescence. It is so, I think, important to really embody all of that. And my job is to really make that accessible to women and heal that shame. I think when you use that erotic energy, the erotic life force, it's really healing. Because then you release, releasing shame is so important. It can really affect all areas of your life. Just like in my day job with my coworkers, like how I show up with my friends, how I go to the deli counter, you know, the checkout line. So there's all this like energy that when we don't pay attention to it, it's kind of like, and we talked about it being a little bit irresponsible. So it's like, oh, I'm gonna flirt with this man and I don't understand my impact, right? Understanding the impact and being really conscious about seduction, I think is where we find the healing and we release.
Right. And then I love how like conscious and seduction in the non-manipulative way, of course, right? Because some women are very conscious about their seduction, so to speak, but it's for maybe like ulterior motives or maybe more egoic purposes, and like whatever their journey they're on is their journey. But what we're talking about is like our interest is fostering like intimacy, genuine aliveness, genuine connection between ourselves and others. So whether it's like you're in a boardroom and you're feeling for what does this room need to like, what do the people in this room need to feel seen? What kind of synergy is being asked for? The seductress is really good at knowing, okay, like this room could use some magnetism. Like
God,
they're like, I'm picturing a room where people are really scattered or distracted, and just one woman walking into a room silently and holding her power and command with like a come hither energy. She doesn't have to say anything, and it's not manipulation. It's saying this is what the room needs. They're asking for this support, and or it could be the opposite. It could be like radiance. You know, maybe the room feels really dead, and people are like, need
hey, I need a party. And I love that you actually said that, because it made me think of something. Using that seduction and that energy, there's also a level of tactfulness. I realize, and that's another one of my superpowers. And I think it actually comes from my like seductive energy. It's like, what do people need? So seduction is like also in service of others, which I think women naturally just kind of go to.
Seduction is in service of others, not just ourselves.
Yes.
That's it. Thank you.
Yeah. Done. We're done. Yeah.
But people they never thought of it that way because we're not taught or role modeled that.
Yeah. And there's seduction that like fuels you, right? What makes you feel good. And that's the beauty of it, is that it actually like helps and heals you, but it actually helps and heals others too. Yeah, so I love that you said the boardroom visualization. My company is very virtual. So I use my radiance a lot when I'm in meetings. I actually feel into like, what do we need right now? I think we need some laughter. I think we need some like brightness. And I actually bring that. I had a coworker reflect to me the other day. He's like, I was super checked out and everyone was really stuffy. And then you just said this really funny, like appropriate thing. And it's just like, it lit up the whole room again.
Yep. You're an artful seducer, my friend.
Yeah, oh my God. Receiving. but there's something to be said for that. And I think women might feel it's either they're not their place or they're a little shy. And I feel like it's my responsibility to kind of help women access that. And so I'm really excited for the retreat to like bring these, and I access seduction through embodiment practices. I actually personally use sensual movement. I have an online virtual school that it's basically the art of seduction. I'm teaching women how to seduce and drop into their bodies. And when you're connected, I find, to your body, more than your mind, that is really when it can be unleashed.
Yeah, I mean, that's where true magnetism, radiance, incandescence really comes from. It's connection to the core of your power. I love that Giovanni was just chiming in the chats, just saying that that he's enjoying this. That was really cool.
He
I
is
was wondering if you had
really
any
enjoying
questions.
it. I love it. Yes, absolutely enjoy away.
So great. And so let me just feel in. So I'm thinking of, so there's the possibility of like impact, like in a boardroom. There's even just, this is a simple thing that we've all heard of. It's like, when you smile at a stranger, you have no idea what impact, but that's an example of what we're talking about. Like seduction can be broader than like, just like seducing men into bed. It's infiltrating. That's a big word. I don't know, but that's what's coming through.
I love it.
Infiltrating someone's heart, but from love.
Yeah.
From love, from play, it could be a little bit of like a darker sexual energy if that's the thing. Like if you're flirting and you actually feel a little bit of like that, whatever darker eroticism, and it is, you want to invite them to your bedroom. Like that maybe that's the thing.
Yeah. And I love that you said this. It is a thing, right? So there's all these different flavors that we can bring to our life. Right. And using them consciously, so important. So, I mean, I talk about in my strip club, like I actually get paid to have conversations with men. And I find that most of the times, like, of course, like I can open my legs and show them my pussy and we move on to the next one. But I do have men who are healing from either being cheated on or their wives passed away or they just are lonely. And they come in to find that connection with a woman and they just want to be seen, felt, heard, right? And I actually provide that for them. And it doesn't need to be overtly sexual. I can be fully clothed, sitting next to them, just looking them in the eye and just hearing them, truly hearing them. And that's seduction.
Yeah. And I would, if I had to give a flavor to that, it'd probably be like that incandescence flavor. There's like a warmth and like a softness to it. Right. Yeah. So beautiful. And that made me think of something else. Let me see if I can track it back. No, I lost it. That's okay. Maybe it'll come back. But I would, go ahead.
Well, I love what you said about incandescence, right? And it's just like learning the style of the flavor. We were talking about this. It's a softness and femininity. I find that like in the quiet moments of my life is when I'm not conscious of seducing or conscious of my sexual energy is when I can access for me, it's very unconscious. It's like, oh, okay. Like I just feel there's like when I reflect in moments of my life, it's like, oh my gosh, that was when I accessed incandescence. And I'm sure that all women at some point have actually felt these different flavors of this archetype.
And some might be more default than others. Like you're saying, like for you, it's
for me, it's radiance. Mine is radiance. Usually that's my default. I'm very like, hi, I'm the party, like that's my flavor. And I actually attract people that way. And when I'm stripping, it's my magnetism. And I really drop into this different character.
Smoldering, mysterious.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I love that.
Yeah.
So I know what it was that I was thinking of is that seduction, just like another way of thinking of it is also flirtation. Right. Yeah. And flirtation can range from like more like platonic playfulness.
Oh my God, yes.
Right? To like super sexually charged, let's go make out.
Yeah. And I love that you use that word, playfulness. It is totally like playfulness and seduction, not taking things too seriously. I think people also take like seduction and think of like seriousness. They're like, okay, I gotta, you know what I mean? Like this bravado, but it's actually such a playful nature. I flirt with women all the time. All the time. I flirted with a woman who works not even at my company that I was just like a vendor of ours. And I was just like, I love your contour. I like noticed this thing about you that I know takes a really long time and your nose looks amazing. And we were just flirting and just like, what are you doing this weekend? What do you and she's like, this is my favorite call of the day. And it's like just being in service of someone's like joy.
Yeah. Enjoying each other is what I hear enjoying each other. So there's this joy that's cultivated. So beautiful. So for the women someone who's tuning in, who might feel like, I could really use a retreat, some palm trees time. And we have a pool and a hot tub at our retreat waiting for us. I'm really excited for, and also who want to go into a profound experience, who want more than just a vacation, to have both. And these are going to be profound portals to move through each one of these archetypes and in very embodied ways, not just like sitting back and like listening to a lecture and receiving. We're like actually going to practice these. So what is without giving it all away, like maybe like a little tease, because you're just a tease, you know, the seductress that you are. What is something that women could expect to be doing with you?
Yeah.
Like, what exactly are they in for if
Perfect.
they say yes to coming?
Well, I hope you do say yes, because you really are in for a treat. But for me, I really access, as I mentioned before, my sensuality, my seduction through embodied movement. And that can be dance, that can be something else. You know, I think you and I have a lot of really great ideas of what we're gonna put on the show for. And for me, I really access this through music. Just really embodying. And so I would say expect some really like sexy time, but also really like excavating time, right?
Beautiful.
Time to look at yourself and just be like, what does seduction mean to me?
Exactly. And then looking in those three perspectives, or those three flavors, is like, you know, like for women who are like, you know, it's been a while since I've given my lover a lap dance, or I don't even know where to start. I've always wanted to, but I feel shy, or like so there's ways that we can specifically play with, you know, like overtly spicing up your sex life if you're looking for to amp up your seductress in that sense, right?
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, like I literally call myself the lap dance queen. I've taught, you know, and it's great. I've actually taught a lot of women how to lap dance, and I've gotten a lot of incredible feedback, just the confidence. And I find that like, it's just approval, like my approval, your approval, their approval for themselves to actually go to the spot. A lot of people are very shy, and maybe insecure. And I'm really there to like bring out that seductress and be like, this is who you are at your essence.
And celebrate her. And there's so much healing that happens amongst women, witnessing each other, because there's been so much competition amongst women and our sexuality. And so being witnessed in our like hotness, whatever flavor it is, because we're going to play with the others too. If someone wants to come and it's not so much about the, I want to give my lover a lap dance. It's more like, I want to have a powerful impact in a boardroom or at the checkout counter. Like, we're going to play with all of these flavors and then be witnessed in it by each other as women. So there's something really healing and being witnessed and celebrated.
Absolutely. I love that you said the witness part. That is like, it is the biggest thing that I teach. It's like, I always make time for witnessing and just to be celebrated by each other. It brings out that confidence. Sometimes women just need a reminder. I am actually that hot shit. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Totally that. And just like the power of even walking around a space intentionally with knowing that you are like a sensual being. Super powerful. I got reflected. I taught like walking the other day in one of my classes, and someone was like, just even walking is sensual.
Taking up space. Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. And this is how we healed any of the shame that we have. So like when we walk down the street and we just like kind of fold into ourselves because we're afraid of our sexuality, of our power, or vice versa, like so splashy and like leaky that we're like, whoops, I don't know where all this attention's coming from. I don't really even like it. Like, I don't like all the whatever, you know. So this is what I'm hearing is like, this is an opportunity just to, if there's shame, to release that. And if there's leakiness, to clean that up.
To clean it up. Absolutely. Yeah. I used to, and this is great. I recently had a human design reading, and I learned all about like the way I need to move through life. And one of the things I learned is that I need to make mistakes. And so I've actually made all of the mistakes you can make in seduction, which is why I would call myself an expert in seduction, because I have been really leaky about it. I have been really like, walking down the street. I'm from New York City originally, and just like men catcalling me and being like, why are they doing that? Right. This anger that comes up in a reaction. And I can go into like appreciating a male's gaze now, but you know, there's that attention too, and being receptive and feeling the safety in it. But
yes, also, that's huge. What you just said, like that's a workshop of just feeling safe, receiving a man's gaze,
receiving a man's gaze, right, and not faulting him for that. And I mean, I learned so many things from being in the strip club about men, and just like a lot of women. I mean, this is not a workshop about men, but a lot of women just knowing that like men just want sex, men just want this, and it's like they're also really seductive beings by nature, men. And so coming up to the level of like ownership of that, and responsibility and consciousness. That is really what we're here to teach.
Yeah. And sometimes it's like I love it because there's a piece around like being receptive and appreciating a man's like appreciation of us, right? And that can be really beautiful. It can really open the heart if we like let ourselves be appreciated by men and their gaze. And then there's also times where it's like, where you can just feel like actually that whatever that's coming towards me from you right now doesn't feel good. And so like, how do we that could be something really powerful to bring into the work too, actually.
Identifying that.
So yeah. And like, what do we do in that situation? And, like, how can it start maybe just purely in the energetics, and, maybe we can get into what that would look like verbally too, if we wanted to, but at least energetically, that would be a powerful, without like closing the heart and like giving the finger. Like, how do we,
totally. There's this idea that like, I've encountered this a lot. And so the other part of my human design is that I actually teach now the martyr heretic. And now I'm actually helping people.
I'm those two. I'm that too. Martyr heretic.
Good for us.
Look at us.
We get to
make all the mistakes and then we teach it.
Yes, I love
exactly it. Oh man, it's a rough ride though. We just make all the freaking mistakes.
yeah. There's so many mistakes. I mean, I've made.
We like learn the hard way.
But yeah, they'll learn the hard way. Yeah, if someone tells me something, I still got to go out and do it. Like, why? Like,
exactly.
It's just the lived experience, right?
Yeah, it's just part of our design.
And there's this lived experience that I've had of like flirtation with a man or something, and then they come on too strongly, or I receive it, and then I'm stuck in this like I don't know how to hold a boundary of like I actually don't.
This is powerful.
Yeah, or then flirting with someone in a way that's like I do have a boundary, and it's super sexy and hot, and now you get to know it, and we still get to have our playtime.
And I love how like you sharing your boundary is still seduction.
Yes, it is.
That Absolutely. I mean, if anything, like I'm actually really feeling strongly like let's do a lot of that.
Yes!
Like all of it. Let's do all of it. All of the embodying, but also working with the what to do when we're like, oops, actually, as we play, because we're going to be playing. It's always play. It's an experiment. And so, oops, now I'm realizing I want to shift something here. That's not exactly what I wanted to invite in. So that'll be a powerful. So if you're tuning in, women, and if you have any questions, Melody and I will circle back to this in the chat and happy to answer any questions. And if you're considering the retreat, I'm going to put the link in the comments below so you can sign up. If you register with a friend, you receive an additional $250 off, which is really cool.
Hot.
Yeah. And so, I feel really good about it. It's a pretty affordable retreat for all inclusive and all of the potent expertise you're going to be receiving. And there's going to be a before and after woman, the woman who enters the retreat and the woman who exits the retreat. And it's called the coronation retreat because we're going to be crowning ourselves as holy women at the completion of this. And there is this really stepping into your sovereignty and your full erotic range as a woman in this experience. So if you're like, I could use me some of that, check us out and join us.
Yeah. I got chills when you shared that. I was like, yes, I want a coronation. So hot.
So good. Well, thank you so much for joining, Melody. And we could just like talk forever on this because there's so many pieces to dive into. There was one thing I wanted to name when we get into like, how do we, naming boundaries. And I love how there's a way to do it that's still like open-hearted and playful and flirtatious and seductive. So powerful, such a powerful skill. Yeah. There's another archetype that comes right after the passionate seductress as we leave, because for those listening, my archetypes are mapped on the seasons because we look to Mother Nature, who's like the supreme erotic role model of it all, of all of life. And so the two winter archetypes, the surrendered submissive, the visionary enchantress, associated with winter, hibernation, stillness, deep introspection. And then the spring archetypes, which are the innocent slut and the passionate seductress. So we will have guest speakers coming on to talk more about the visionary enchantress and the innocent slut. And so after spring comes summer, and there are 2 more archetypes. And the first one that comes online right after the passionate seductress is called the boss bitch. And and so she is like the supreme boundary setter with an open heart. Like bitches get a bad rap because oftentimes it is like really caustic and like closed hearted. Now you can be like laser sharp and intense and like ouch as a like a conscious bitch, so to speak.
Yeah.
Like this is my sword, and it might sting someone, it might hurt. It's not like it's always like super soft.
Yeah.
But there's like an open-hearted, loving thing behind it. And that's like what we're pointing to with this like playfulness and seduction. Like the boundary doesn't have to be like F you. Like it could it can still be in the realm of play. And so the boss bitch, she might not be quite as playful as the seductress. So that's why we get into, you know, other archetypes. So we can start wielding even more of our range as women and getting into different flavors. So just wanted to name that. It's so fun, all these archetypes.
Good. Yeah, such a value, right, to women to actually embody these archetypes. To just like, you know, and you're not just, you know, we're playing at this retreat, but then when you leave, I want to say too, just to like bump you up as well, like I did experience one of your archetype workshops and I cried the whole time. And I got such approval and love from you for doing that. And it was in my own way that I embodied these. And that like retreat changed my life. Like I really feel like in my everyday now, I can fully express my emotions, which is something that I really had a hard time with grief. And I just cried for 3 days. And it was like
grief broke open.
Yes, yeah, broke up. Yeah. And you, I think you mentioned to me something about like, I want you to like fall apart. And it was so beautiful. And it was just like, wow, like it's okay for me to be safe in actually sharing my grief. And that was just in a few hours of experiencing you. You know what I mean? Like, can you imagine?
Thank you for that. Thank you.
Oh, good.
Yeah, that was the visionary enchantress in me, that archetype that channels the divine, heard that message for you, that it's safe for you to fall apart.
Yeah.
And so if you come to the retreat, you'll receive my visionary enchantress messages, but you'll also tune into your own, tune into that interview, which will be coming out this week as well. So much magic with this retreat. And I can't wait for the women to get to experience your transmission of the seductress. And it's one of a kind, and it's so special.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm really excited. So good.
Yay. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. If you have any questions, you can private message me or put it in the comments. We hope to see you at the retreat. And tune into our next interview coming up this week. Thank you so much again for being here, Melody.
Yes, so thankful for you to have me.
Yay. All right. So stop that.